All right, let's play some Historic, chat. Historic, for those not familiar, is the non-rotating format that we have access to here on Magic the Gathering Arena. This is a format that, in addition to getting cards from new sets like Ikoria, this format also gets what they call historic anthologies that add cards to it every quarter as well. The next historic anthology is going to be released on May 21st. It'll have 27 new cards in it from Magic's history. The first two cards that were spoiled for that are Phyrexian Obliterator and 10-mana Ulamog, I believe. Today, we are kicking off with a mono-black Aristocrat / Sacrifice deck here. Aristocrats, for those not familiar with that Magic jargon, refers to an archetype that sacrifices its own creatures for some kind of value. Priest of the Forgotten Gods tends to headline these Aristocrat-styles decks a lot of the time. We also have Ayara, First of the Locthwain, as a card that lets us sacrifice things. And then we have Witches up and along with the Cauldron Familiar here to bounce things in and out. Another sweet thing we have here in this build is Desecrated Tomb. So whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying. So Desecrated Tomb basically means every time we loop the cat with the oven, we also get a 1/1 flying bat, which is sweet. Is Priest worth giving up for Obosh? I don't think so. I think this card's super powerful. I think I ultimately ended up taking the green blacklist off my website because I hadn't had a chance to play it in a post Field of the Dead world, and I wasn't sure if what it was doing was really able to keep up with that. So I pulled it down. Like I said, the deck lists on my website tend to be their living pages. So like when something I think stops being reasonable, I pull it down off of there. I also update deck lists on there regularly, even if we're not always playing them constantly. Yeah, this looks fine. Little Knight of the Ebon Legion mirror match here. Maybe playing Grixis aggro. Something we played a little bit of. No blocks here since they can pump. Pack Rat, okay. And Crypt Breaker. Everyone's just playing like mono black staples they like. Crypt Breaker's a weird one. I guess it makes zombies on its own. Crypt Breaker, one of those cards they added via an anthology. Some zombie synergies. We should be getting a ton of tribal support in Historic here soon. Because we know that Jumpstart is coming to Historic, and Jumpstart's going to be a bunch of tribal mashups. So we should get a ton of sweet tribal stuff from that set. And I think they posted a list of what tribes are going to be supported in that, right? I think Bolt is too OP to be Historic legal. I think you're asking the wrong question. Don't ask yourself the question, is this card too good for Historic? Instead, ask yourself the question, does this card add something of value to Historic? Don't just don't just suggest cards because they might be, because they're not too strong. Instead, add cards that are genuinely good for the format. Oh, I'm dumb. I thought this returned, I thought this returned 3 total converted mana cost worth of creatures, not up to 2. I was expecting to get all 3 of those back. That's why I sacked this proactively. Obviously shouldn't have sacked this proactively if I could only get 2 back anyways. Hey, Enderness, thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Death Touch Cat is sweet. I agree. Opponents had enough of our clogged board state. Not really sure what this opponent is doing. I think I might just click submit. Maybe I want a couple of Heartless Acts as way to kill Pack Rat. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just gonna run it back. You can always find the list I ended on, Soldier Sui, in the video description of my YouTube videos on my channel, which are also linked on my website. I feel like when I send out my quarterly sub-survey emails, I really need to start putting information in there about, like, stuff that I do. The number of times there's, like, year-long or 2-year subs that, like, don't realize I have a website or, like, don't realize the information that's on my website and my YouTube channel always surprises me. And, try and spend more effort making it clear all the different things that I do. Like Siege Rhino would be good in Historic. I have no idea, but we're gonna find out. Remember, all of the cards that are Pioneer legal will eventually be Historic legal. Opponent really doesn't like playing against Cat Oven, apparently. Are you looking in your Connections tab on your desktop Discord client, Scar? And thanks for sticking around, Soldier. Gosh, the owl suit was a long time ago at this point. Been a hot second. Can you fax me the latest version of each deck list? All right, chat. Which of these takes is worse? These are both, this is a reminder if you're not on Magic Twitter that it's a stain of a place. Earlier today, I had someone tweet verbatim that Brainstorm does not warp Legacy. Here's a follow-up for worst Legacy take. Brainstorm is a bad card quite a lot of the time. Which of those two is a worse take? Which of those two is a worse take? Brainstorm doesn't warp Legacy, or Brainstorm is a bad card quite a lot of the time. It's probably the second, right? Trick question, they're both bottom of the barrel takes. Yeah, fetches won't come to Historic. Again, fetches are not Pioneer legal. Everything that's Pioneer legal will eventually be a part of Historic. Hey, thanks for the half a year, TX Pump Fist. How's this set been? Any particular nice ones? Yeah, you can always check out my favorite decks every day on my website here. I always try to tag a couple of favorites. Yeah, correct. I agree, Saucer Grab. I expect cards that are banned in Pioneer that aren't already on Arena just won't get printed. Is my expectation. So won't Historic be met and as Modern Light as Pioneer then? No. And again, you need to understand, and again, this is, it really shows, people saying comments like that always serves to remind me that people don't really understand the nuance of how formats work. One, Historic already has a variety of cards that are not legal in Pioneer and weren't printed in Pioneer. And two, Historic has cards that are in Pioneer legal sets that are banned in Pioneer. Nexus of Fate, Field of the Dead, Leyline of Abundance. These are all cards you can play in this format that you can't play in Pioneer. And again, one of the other things that, in my opinion, makes Pioneer a dumpster fire right now is the fact that they continue to leave things banned that are worse than the things that are currently legal in their format. So Pioneer, for those that aren't familiar with that format, started with very aggressive, very good, in my opinion, ban list management. They banned a lot of really obnoxious things to start. But then they went and printed a bunch of things that were more offensive than the things they banned in Theros, and they didn't catch the ban list back up. So they added things that were more obnoxious than what they had previously banned, and then didn't unban the things that they banned, and also didn't ban the new obnoxious things. So, in my opinion, they could have done either of those things. They could have banned the obnoxious things, or they could have unbanned the things they had previously banned that were now not good. And they elected not to do either of those. That, in my opinion, is my fundamental problem with the current state of Pioneer. A lack of consistency. Heartless Act sounds wonderful. I'd like to kill some of their tiny creatures. I guess this isn't really good against things with Riot though, huh? Kills Questerson though. What do I want to trim here? Probably just Gutterbones. Doesn't really play defense well, and I feel like we're playing defense in this matchup a lot. Libation hits the god? I suppose that's true. It's pretty bad against everything that's not the god, though, right? Like, if they don't have the god in play, it's like killing a Land War Elf or like a Burning Emissary for 3 mana, which isn't very good. My deck actually can't interact with this card, right? So actual 0 waves in my 75? So part of the problem with this archetype in Standard 2, and this translates to this format, is that when you can keep your key cards like Priests into play, your deck feels like a really powerful, well-oiled machine. But in games where your opponent is able to kill your key cards, you tend to really struggle in my experience. I mean, it's not an instant lose, because, like, our deck can still, like, attack and block and stuff. But it definitely makes a lot of our cards just be off. The person that asked about, don't we have Libation, I'd encourage you to read the cards you're asking me about. Reading is busted in Magic the Gathering chat. It'll give you a huge advantage over most people. If you are literate, you are at a distinct advantage in Magic the Gathering. Yeah, good thought in chat. Is it worth having the cards that we're playing with these 3-drops as opposed to just playing Luris? Luris is a card that helps you keep keep Priest in play. Oh, you want to just play Lurrus in the main deck? Maybe? I don't know. Like, Lurrus in the main deck's very similar to just playing Call of the Death Dwellers, right? Could use Angrass Rampage in my mono black deck to make them sacrifice their Grafdigger's Cage. That's a bold take. One of the worst parts about Magic the Gathering Arena is the inability to cheat. You gotta play the silly game by the rules. Lurrus in the main will let you keep the Tombs and the Riders? Sure. But again, why is playing Lurrus in the main better than just playing this card? Can you explain? That would be my question to you. This one might be a quick set. And I had a request for explicitly mono black, and I'm not sure that mono black really has the tools to be super successful. Especially in Historic, where you have access to Buddy Lands and Shock Lands. Having a secondary color for flexibility like Bedevil to kill cages is a big deal. I don't even think Thoughtseize really helps an archetype like this. Thoughtseize doesn't make your weak synergy piles better, really. Yeah, but a mono black Obliterator deck is kind of fundamentally different than what this deck is doing. So, like, Obliterator doesn't just top end into a sacrifice style deck like this, right? Like, Obliterator sounds like a sweet card in, like, an aggressive Gray Merchant deck. Like, that sounds really awesome. But as far as like what this deck is doing, it's definitely not a Phyrexian Obliterator deck. Sure, but those aren't mono black decks per se. You're again kind of articulating and highlighting why it's worth it and low cost to splash another color. So, like, for people in chat that are saying Thoughtseize is gonna suck, I agree with you that I don't really like Thoughtseize as a core design as a card, but, like, what decks in Historic right now that are good get Thoughtseize? Right? Like, if I sit down and think about what all is in the format, there really aren't like, Thoughtseize decks that pop up in my mind. I don't think Kisa's combo really wants it. Kisa's combo did not want Thoughtseize in Pioneer. I'd be surprised if it wants it in Historic. Breach could maybe play Thoughtseize. Yeah, the Breach deck plays Agonizing Remorse in the main, so that one would probably swap that to Thoughtseize. Very poor little European man. Thanks for the content and the commentary. I'm in awe of how much contempt you have for the chat. Listen, it's not that I'm angry with the chat. I'm just disappointed because I know there's a lot of really smart people in my chat, and I know that if they apply themselves a little bit more, they could do better than what they show. I want them to be better because I know in my heart of hearts, they're capable of being better. Yarok only wants Thoughtseize in the sideboard, and again, I love Yarok Field, but Yarok Fields isn't very good in this format, chat. It's only okay. It's only okay, is the reality. So this is 15. They're at 11. Jump block the 5, take 10, I think. They should unban Veil when Thoughtseize become legal. You're a monster. Lukewarm take. Magic is littered with feel bad experiences. Questerson is scary. They announced more HA3 cards, just the first two. I think we're dead to the Questerson. Because I have to take 9. These are unblockable. This goes here. This goes here. This goes here. These two go here. And then I'm dead, right? I haven't blocked this yet either. So I've blocked everything I can block. I guess I could technically do this. Means I'm not dead. Right? How do you deal with tilted Magic? Play a different format, play a different deck, take a break. Look at that. 3 best pieces of advice you can get. Magic's not a single game. Oh my gosh! I had Menace! Oh no! Oh, I had the lethals! I had the lethals, chat! Oh, I forgot it had Menace! Oh no! Oh no! Yikes! Yikes! I win, I conceded. Yep. Alright, the deck won game 1. To be fair, the opponent probably also threw that by making their attack with all. So like if my opponent is more conservative, I don't have it out there. Like if my opponent had just attacked with Questing Beast and the 5/4, I'd probably die. Or like just their trample things is what they should have done. So they threw and I threw back. Sometimes instead of playing Magic, you play soccer and you just kick a ball back and forth. Great. The gang's all here, chat. Hey, Charles, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. Debunk Teamer Fires. Seems good. Sounds good. I graduated from pharmacy school and thought I'd get back to my favorite streamer. Congrats. Congrats, Stuber. I appreciate the biddies. Hope you're staying safe out there. If I said this deck didn't go how I was expecting it to go, I'd be lying. Yeah, felt like just a good highlight of, you know, average individual card quality is kind of low. When our opponents had even a little bit of interaction, they picked us apart. When Priest stayed in play, it felt kind of okay, but a lot of the games were like our girl opponent just had removal for the Priest, the deck just kind of fell apart. Like, you have a bunch of 1/1s for 1, and like this card that doesn't do anything on its own, even though it's novel when you get the whole engine going. And I feel like the payoff that we were getting when everything was working did not proportionally offset how weak the deck was when all the synergies didn't come together. It feels pretty rare today in Magic's card design that decks like this tend to be good just because the individual, generally speaking, decks that are competitive in Magic today, the individual power level tends to be a little bit higher. I don't think there's really a meaningful reason to not splash a color in this archetype. You should have red or white or green are all acceptable splash colors. Bedevil, Mayhem Devil, Cruel Celebrant, ways to destroy artifacts and enchantments, all of these are things that you're kind of interested in. I think even with those splashes, this archetype tends to be a little bit low power level. In Standard, we've largely seen Luris or more aggressive Obosh variations take over, and I honestly wouldn't be surprised if a similar direction is ideal in Historic as well. So Luris really helps solve part of that synergy problem I talked about in this archetype, because Luris makes it so when they have that piece of removal for your first Priest, you're able to get it back right away, which is great. You know, I think with Obosh, you want to be like Red Splash with Mayhem Devil. So, and even if you play the companions, my comment from a second ago about probably wanting to splash a color, I think still holds very, very true. All right, that was a quick one, so I'm not going to hit another ad roll because we just did.